What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Grey Talks Wrestling. Hope you're all keeping well and you're ready for another retro review. Smash the subscribe button if you're new around here. Comment, share, like, all that lovely stuff. Really appreciate everyone that's helping this channel grow. WCW Slamboree 1993, a Legends reunion. Can be remembered for a few things. The Legends matches were on this show, maybe. I doubt it very much. Couple of old farts trying to run around the ring. It just was awful to watch. Why are you bringing these old timers back? Maybe it was Ric Flair coming back again. He's got Flair for the gold, up and running. And of course, the Horsemen weren't far behind, were they? Of course not. Ric Flair around the Horsemen. Yep, they're straight back in the saddle, aren't they? Arn Anderson, Ole Anderson, Tully. Oh no, not Tully Blanchard. Because he said no, he declined supposedly. Yeah, right, we all know what happened there. Instead, they go and get themselves a new Horseman. And when you think of Horseman, you think of elite. When you think of Horseman, you think of the best. When you think of Horseman, you think the best of all time. But you don't think of Paul Roma. Pretty Paul Roma. Yeah, the Paul Roma from Power and Glory, that Paul Roma. The jobber from WWE, that Paul Roma. Jesus Christ. Whose idea was that? That was just absolutely shocking. Laughable, and this is what this show was remembered for, really. They weren't remembered for the matches, because there weren't many good ones. Apart from maybe the last three matches on this show, the rest was just awful. The curtain jerker, the first match of the night, Cold Scorpio, Marcus Alexander Bagwell defeated Bobby Eaton and another new tag team partner for Bobby Eaton. The one that probably is least remembered, Chris Benoit. Decent opening match, I suppose. You got Bobby Eaton there. He knows how to put on a tag match and put it together, so it wasn't a bad match. Cold Scorpio, very impressive. Bagwell was okay. Benoit, let's have it right, in the ring was excellent. This was okay for 9 minutes of tag team wrestling. I didn't mind it at all. Sid Vicious returns and absolutely squashes Van Hammer. 35 seconds, just power bombs the geezer. And Van Hammer's not a small dude. He's literally not that far off Sid Vicious in size, really. And he absolutely squashes him. It's cool to see Sid Vicious back in the wrestling ring, though. Why someone can't see that he's like main event talent and to push him to the moon straight away, I do not know. It didn't happen the first time around in WCW. It didn't happen in the WWF. He's back again in WCW. We know he goes backwards and forwards a couple more times throughout the 90s. So, yeah, see what happens. The first of the three Legends matches. And this was hard to watch. Why are they putting these guys out there? They're just way past their best, way overweight. Just so old and just past it. It was terrible. Don Morocco, Dick Murdoch and Jimmy Snuka defeated Wahoo McDaniel, Blackjack Mulligan and Jumpin' Jim Brunzell. Just slow, methodical, plodding match. Just, yeah, not worth going to watch. Why would you do this? Why would you ruin the memory of Legends? Why would you ruin our memory of the Legends back then? Like, it made no sense. Same for the second match out. Thunderbolt Patterson, a legend, teaming with Brad Armstrong. It was supposed to be Brad Armstrong's dad, Bullet Bob. And they defeated Ivan Koloff and Baron Von Raschke. This was even worse than the first match, even slower, and just terrible. Just hard to watch. Again, just ruining the memory of these wrestlers. And then we get the third one. This is probably the best of the three, but probably the slowest of the three, the way they moved around the ring. But I think I'll give it to him. This wasn't a bad match, and probably not one of the worst matches on the whole damn show. So, Dory Funk Jr. versus Nick Bockwinkel was what it was. Two old-timers, two legends, two champions. It was probably the best of the three. It wasn't as bad as the other two. But it wasn't great. It was hard to watch considering how good these guys really were back when they were at their peak. Why you're making them go out there now and do it, I don't know. It made no sense to me. Rick Rude versus and Paul Orndorff for a tag team. A United States champion, TV champion, put them together. They look pretty decent as a tag team. I didn't mind it. It was an okay match. They defeated Dustin Rhodes and Kensuke Sasaki. It was an okay tag match, just a basic tag match. Sting, that was in the main event, was fighting with Vader, had a great story, had a great feud. What do they do with him next? They're putting him in some dumbass feud against the Prisoner. The Prisoner, if you don't know, was Nails. Yeah, that Nails. They've just been in Survivor Series losing to the Boss Man. Now he's here in WCW. And the creative for the geezer is just fantastic. He's wearing exactly the same outfit that he wore in WWF. Exactly the same gimmick. Exactly the same haircut. He looks exactly the same. Nothing's changed apart from the genius and creative of the name, The Prisoner. Yeah, Sting wins. Like you're going to believe The Prisoner's beating Sting. Just waste of fucking time. Wasting Sting's potential, wasting everyone's time here. This was just pathetic and boring and just a waste of time. Best match of the night. What a surprise. He's doing it again. Stealing the show. Brian Pillman, Steve Austin, the Hollywood Blondes. They're now the tag team champions, and they retain those tag team champions in a steel cage match. It was absolutely phenomenal. The one thing I didn't really like was why Steamboat and Douglas needed to wear those stupid Mexican lucha outfits. They looked ridiculous. You couldn't take the match seriously. If they were actually just dressed normally, it would have been a lot more serious, a lot better in my opinion, a lot more violent. But yeah, this was a good tag match. Still, even with the Gringo Locos or whatever they were calling themselves. Was a good match. Really enjoyed it. Easily the best match of the night. Close second was probably Arn Anderson versus Barry Windham. He had Barry Windham right there. A former Four Horsemen, and you're not making him a Horseman. Just because he's probably holding the NWA Championship. And we can't have that with Flair around. Wyndham's the champion going up against Arn Anderson. This was a bloody match. Windham got busted open pretty early on, hard way I do believe, on the guardrail. Yeah, they beat the shit out of each other. This was great. A great match. Really enjoyed it. Nothing wrong with it. The finish was good as well. Arn Anderson getting hit with the belt by Windham, and Windham picking up the 1, 2, 3. And they both. My only question is, are they both heels in this? Because it seemed like that way throughout the entirety of the match, and the fans seemed like that as well. They didn't seem to be that into it. Davey Boy Smith versus Van Vader was the main event. And while I'd like to believe that Davey Boy Smith should have been a world champion, I don't believe he should have been a world champion. I don't believe he was at that level, in my opinion. I really don't. He was good in the ring, very good. Just couldn't talk to save his life. Really couldn't on the mic. His promos were dreadful. Just go back and listen to them. They were shocking. Yeah, he had the look, he had the style, he could wrestle, no doubt about it. One of the best. The athleticism of him was amazing, off the charts. At this point as well, he'd already had a couple of injuries, already had those bad habits, and yeah, he wasn't ready to be a world champion, and never was really, in my opinion. Yeah, it was a decent match though. It was just a finish I didn't really like. Vader getting DQ'd. Harley Race getting involved, pulling Davey Boy off of Vader, and then Vader hitting him with a chair, and yeah, it just wasn't a good way to finish the actual show, the main event. They could have done something a bit different there, in my opinion. Then Vader beating on Davey after the match, and then a couple of guys coming out, and then of course here comes Sting to make the save. Overall, not a bad show, but I was hoping for better from WCW, considering Super Brawl and how good that was leading into this. There was a couple of decent matches, but yeah, I thought the Legends thing just got in the way. They really didn't need to do. They could have done a little segment and just left it at that. Flair and the Horsemen, will never be forgotten. Paul Roma being a horseman, and this was the night it happened, will never be forgotten. So overall, yeah, there are things on this show that have basically put a downer on what was. There were some good matches on this show. Let me know what you think down below, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully this cold goes away by then. Thanks for watching. See you later. Ta-ta.